Hi, I'm Mike Perkins from CarGurus, and this is the 2016 Lexus NX300H. That H means it's a hybrid, fitted with the same powertrain that's in the Camry Hybrid, a monster 2.5-liter engine mated to an electric motor and all powered by a nickel-metal hydride battery pack. This version gets the luxury and navigation packages, which means it has extras like 18-inch wheels, leather, unique interior trim, and power for the seats and the hatch, plus heat for the steering wheel and the seats, which also get ventilation. You'll get a moonroof, LEDs, and a navigation system, not to mention $6,300 added to the $40,000 MSRP. For 2016, the NX300H gets enhanced smartphone connectivity through the N-Form suite, but is otherwise unchanged. So let's hit the road and see exactly what a compact luxury crossover hybrid can offer. Lexus's latest batch of vehicular offerings have had some of the most controversial styling I can recall. I mean, it's the epitome of love it or hate it. But regardless of your opinion, this newest crop has doubled sales for the IS and the GS series, and the NX actually outsells all Lexus models but one. Personally, it crosses just over into too busy territory for me. With all the intersecting lines and angles, I mean, I've never really understood combining cut-off wheel arches with plastic fender flares, but you really can't argue with sales. But no one would say the same about the interior. I mean, Lexus has consistently boasted some of the best interiors on the market, and here they wanted a little bit of sports car influence, and it's worked. There is a lot to remind me of the ISs and the RCs that I've tested, and things are pretty well sorted in here. With the luxury package, you get this wood interior trim in black and all of the leather that you see in two-tone and contrast stitching, but there are some strange inclusions. While this is leather, this is hard plastic, and you wouldn't notice it at first, but it did start to bother me once I did. Plus, even the soft touch dash here uses the contrast stitching, which is a really strange use of anything other than fabric. Plus, what is this for? Plus, I've never been a big fan of this remote touch interface. Really, it's just too imprecise and distracting for me to use it while driving, and so that makes it really hard for me to justify a $2,000 purchase, and I'm not even really comfortable using it. Of course, that's not all you get for the money. You also get the navigation system, which works fine except for a lot of incorrect listings when you search for points of interest. And you get an upgraded 10-speaker stereo, but that's making something rattle in the back hatch, like I've got 222s buried back there. I mean, it happens even when I keep the bass down below 50% and the volume low, but otherwise it's very clear. You also get wireless smartphone charging, if your phone is compatible. But just like in all the wireless charging equipped vehicles I've tested, the charging dock isn't large enough for most of the phones equipped with wireless charging. For $220, I can't say it's worth the upgrade, especially with 2 USB ports right next to it. The big upgrade is the enhanced smartphone connectivity through N-Form, which works just fine, offering a suite of apps like Pandora, iHeartRadio, Facebook, and Yelp, plus a mobile app that lets you remotely lock and unlock your doors, start the engine, and locate your car if you misplace it, and even monitor the actions of a guest driver with alerts that'll tell you if the vehicle exceeds preset limits on speed, curfew, miles driven, etc. It's all impressive, but the standard is quick becoming Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and I suspect people will be critical simply at their omission. There are a few things to be upset about. The 20-foot turning radius isn't great, and neither is the 16.8 cubic feet in the trunk. If you drop the rear seats, you're still at just 53.7 cubic feet, and that's at the bottom of the list. It's partially the fault of the fastback design in that ridiculously angled rear hatch, but at least it doesn't affect rear seat room too harshly. It's not all that fast either. With the equivalent of 194 horsepower being pushed through a CVT, you can expect 0 to 60 times of around 9 seconds, and you're going to feel every one of those 9 seconds. Even in sport mode, it can't really keep up for confident passing. In fact, I don't notice much of a difference between the sport and eco modes. The suspension does its job really well, but I wouldn't call it athletic by any means. If that's what you're looking for, you're going to have to go with the NX300F Sport. But again, this isn't a sports car. It's a hybrid. Unfortunately, my average combined fuel economy has been floating closer to 24 miles per gallon in a week's worth of mixed driving around the bay. What do you guys get? Let me know in the comments. Now, miles per gallon isn't the only measure of efficiency. With 276 grams of CO2 per mile, this actually earns an 8 out of 10 in the EPA's smog rating, and it bests the Q5's levels by 20%. Plus, if you fit it with the optional forward collision prevention system, it becomes a top safety pick for the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Couple that with a 5-star overall rating from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and 118-foot 60 to 0 mile per hour stop distance, and the Lexus becomes a standout in the class. The only real reservation ends up being price. With an as-tested cost that's nearly $50,000, the lack of power and the inability to replicate the MPG ratings just really starts to sting a little. For me, I would probably opt out of the luxury package and go for the premium package instead. It gets you nearly everything except for the heated leather steering wheel, the wood interior trim, the rain-sensing wipers, and that frustratingly slow power hatch. It would save you about $5,000. If the navigation system weren't a forced pairing with either package, I'd probably drop that as well and save another $2 grand. Hey, thanks for watching. For more car reviews, just subscribe to the channel, and if you want to know more about the 2016 Lexus NX300H, just click the link in the description. You can head over to CarGurus.com and read my full review.